what's up, guys? So we got Arrow, Season 1, Episode 12, Vertigo. So this episode starts off with Oliver taking down Captain Singh. Taking down the guy who plays Chief Singh on The Flash, which is a show we'll be getting to after we're done this series. After we're done these 2 seasons, we'll be following to The Flash. I'm just saying, the actor who plays this street dealer played a character on The Flash, and Oliver knocks him down. But then when he's like, hey, it's the Count, 1 Vertigo, 2 Vertigos, I'm not gonna do the joke, that's Dewey's joke, not mine. And he said, he's like, hey, it's the Count. So he leaves him there, and how's that guy gonna get down anyway? Somehow he gets down in the scene after, but who let him down? Vertigo? Someone else? I don't know. So Oliver just go see, hey, is everything? So Oliver decides to, check on Thea. Thea's like, Moira, don't talk to me ever. Bye. And bye, Moira. And yeah, because she's still mad at Moira for the last episode. And yeah, that's just it. She's mad at Moira for the last episode. What happened, we don't know. But anyway, yeah, so Oliver decides to find his old friend, McKenna Hall, who basically becomes his second girlfriend after Helena. Yeah, they're trying to find another girlfriend for Oliver after his Helena relationship went down the drain. Why does season 1 are always trying to find Oliver a new relationship? First Laurel, now Helena, and now probably McKenna Hall really show you're really trying to get a relationship out of our boy Oliver. And yeah, so he basically how they used to be friends. She got him kicked out of one of the clubs, and now she does raves. But now she's dressed as a cop now. So that's sort of thing. So he's like, hey. So he's like, you and Queen. She's like, hey, he's a friend, and his sister's in jail or whatever she says. So then we see Count Vertigo, and he looks like he just came out of The Lost Boys. Never seen that movie, but I've seen the joke where they kind of make that joke. I've seen a joke where Manfred Cap says he looks like he's come out of Lost Boys, which he kind of does. The actor's fine. I kind of like it. He's kind of weird where he says this thing. So he basically tells the guy who's going to play Captain Singh on The Flash, street dealer, they don't give him a name, he's just street dealer. He's a street dealer. He injects him with Vertigo and is like, hey, street dealer, you can shoot him, or the street dealer can die. So the street dealer dies, and the street dealer dies because he's like, bye, see you on the next show I'm in. And yeah, show he's in. And yeah, so Oliver decides to go attack the Count, but that's when the Count makes a deal with the Bratva, Oliver's Russian mob, and Oliver does go see the Bratva before this, and they give Oliver a guy that Oliver pretends to kill, but then he does that new trick that he did. He does a new trick the trick that he did to Tommy back in season 1, episode 1, where he just awakens this guy and stops him in a car. So Dale's like, new trick, are you gonna show me? And he's like, he's like, nah, not gonna show you. So then we go to the island flashback, and we have So in the last island flashback, Oliver had to Yao Fei got him into a fight with that Destro guy. or he got into a fight. But then do it like they did him. They put a map in his pocket and threw him down a river. And they showed Singh again, where he throws him down a river. Oliver, and he does that trick that Oliver did to the other guy, and Oliver wakes up and finds the map, and then the end of this time's flashback. So let's go back to the normalcy. So Thea, Laurel decides to, Laurel decides to be like, hey, what's up, Thea? I talked to the judge, and we can totally give you, plea. And she's like, so you can work at CNRI. And she's like, hold up. She has a mom. She doesn't need you, Laurel. I don't want to work at CNRI. And she's like, hey, Laurel got you a good deal. And she's like, she already has a mom. She doesn't need another one. And yeah, Thea is the absolute worst in the second half. Like, for this episode. Like, this makes me just like Thea. And she's like, and yeah, so Thea is, that's what Thea is like, and that doesn't make me dislike Thea, it just makes me dislike Thea. So Oliver tells about how their dad says he was, he tried to protect them, and and obviously, after hearing that, Thea's like, I don't believe you. And he's like, yeah, he does. And she's like, leave me alone, and leave. So then Moira gets mad at him, saying, how dare you say that about your dad, and then leaves too. Like, what's up with it? Why did she leave? And then Diggle comes in, and like, how dare you, Moira? How dare you? Like, how do you say how dare you over when he should be saying, how dare you when he finds out the truth, he's gonna be like, how dare you keep the whole Merlin, you're working for Malcolm Merlin thing. And then, So Oliver decides to make the Count shows up in a limo for some odd reason. I don't know why he's in a limo. Does he have a normal car, or does he always have a limo? I don't know. But then when the cops show up, McKenna sees Oliver. They confront him. He's like, hey, I saw. He's like, hey, his PI saw him there. He's like, hey, you were mistaken. And he's like, hey, and he's like, hey, I'm sorry. Hey, I was only looking on the count. And she's like, hey, Moira's like, is there gonna be any charges against Oliver? And he's like, no. She's like, no. And he's like, hey, I'm glad we did for Thea. And she's like, and he's like, I'm only doing it because Lowell told me to. And that's the last time I'm doing that, so bye. And Quentin's the worst now. So so he also gave Lowell the phone from the last episode, but he bugged it, so now they can hear anytime she calls the hood, they can hear it, which makes Quentin an even more worse person that he would do that, where he kind of thought that he was being nice to her, but no, it's just he only cares about catching the vigilante. Quentin's the worst again. So Oliver got affected by the Counts during their encounter, and the encounter, get it? That wasn't meant for a joke, but then I realized it was, so I had to make it. He was injected by the Count during their encounter, and jokes. It's so hilarious when you say something and then you realize it's a joke and then you have to say it again. So Oliver gets passed out and Diggle waits for him till morning for him to wake up. And then he goes to challenge the Count again, where he's like, the fruit of your labor. There's a weird scene where Quentin says, drop the needle. And then when they flash back, he's like, drop the syringe. Why'd they have to make him say that? Why did he say, he's like, drop the needle, and he's like, then they do a fade to black, and he's like, drop the syringe. Like, why'd they make him change what he had to say? And he's like, hey, he's like, enjoy the fruits of your labor. Now, the Count's all messed up. And he's all, messed up, and then he's like, hey, if you do this, I'll always thought you're not a hero. You're just always what I thought you were. A killer vigilante, and you're a killer. And then, yeah, it's so weird how they made him reuse his line from needle to syringe. It's so weird when the shows do that. When they say one line, then when it comes back, they say another one. So yeah, so the count's all messed up from this. Moira's like, oh, she didn't need to hear what she said. And Thea's like, oh, yeah, I do. She's like, oh, I'm sorry for what I said. And they make up. Okay. And then Tommy and Laurel talk about how Tommy's dad will never change. How he'll always be a crazy psycho. And, yeah, so, I know that's from last episode, but I had to mention it here. So yeah, and now Thea's working at CNRI now. Now that Joanne's gone, Joanne's gone. I have no idea what job Thea has to do, but now she has something to do. They finally gave Thea something to do in the second half, and the accountant's all messed up because the doctor's like, we should not seen him go on this much vertigo. So then Oliver meets up with Felicity at a coffee shop, and she's like, hey, you dropped some big ridiculous lies on me, and then he's like, hey, and then she gives him a list, and she's like, hey, what is this? She's like, this is Walter's, and she's like, no, he found in your house. It belonged to your mom, and I think this is the reason why Walter got abducted. And that's the end of the episode. So, what did I think of this episode? It was okay. The Count was a pretty good villain. They did kill off some. They have been killing off some characters in this. In the second half, starting with Gabriel Ince, then Gaynor, and now that's Street Dealer. So yeah. So the second half of Arrow Season 1 is already beginning to look good. So, yeah. So, as I said, I will be reviewing The Flash when we get to Arrow Season 3. When we get to Arrow Season 3, The Flash will be on this show on the Beckham Reviews Arrowverse watch list. And, yeah, as I said, so will the other Arrowverse shows. We are going in the Arrowverse order, so there will be no, when Mangold Jordan started his Arrowverse review, he started with Supergirl, then The Flash, then Arrow. But now with me, I'll be starting with The Flash, Arrow, then later down the line, we'll be seeing Supergirl for the first time. Not for the first time, but for the first time reviewing it on the channel when we get to it. I don't know when we'll get to it, but we'll get to it at some point. Don't know when, but we'll get to it at some point when we get to that part of Flash 2, Arrow Season 4, and Supergirl Season 1, and Legend Season 1. When we get to those shows, I'll be really excited to review those shows because those shows, even though Arrow Season 4 is considered to be one of the worst seasons of Arrow, I'm excited to review it because maybe the reviews will be popular than the season itself. I don't know, but we'll have to wait till then. But anyway, I'll see you next time for another episode of Arrow Season 1.